So a little background on this. So the term, the acronym VUCA, was actually created by the U.S. War College, and it's actually a military term that's used to describe a war zone, right? An environment where things are very volatile, things are changing, things are uncertain, and so someone used this word to apply it to the business environment. So here it is. Today's organization must be more analytical and must be more agile. Means that they're able to pivot to be able to respond to the gradual changes and sudden changes in a VUCA world. So VUCA essentially means volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Right. So when you think about volatile, think about I always think of a pot of water that's boiling. Right. The water's popping everywhere. It's very unstable. Right. So keep this in mind. We're trying to put together our strategic plan. And strategic planning, strategic is about the future. We're trying to plan for the future, right? And based on what we're seeing, we're trying to make some guesstimates, some ideas about how are we going to reach our end goal, right? Where we're trying to go. Well, while we're trying to plan it, guess what? Things are volatile. The environment is volatile. It's like things are unstable, right? But I've got to put a plan together in light of things unstable. Also, things are uncertain, right? We're planning our trip to go to Jeddah, right? But we're just not quite sure uh, if what the weather's going to be like. If we're going to be on a lockdown, can we go? Today we hear we can go. Tomorrow we hear we cannot go. Things are uncertain. It's hard to plan, but yet we need to be in Jeddah by next week. So it's hard to put a plan together when things are so uncertain. Complex speaks to the fact that there are multiple variables that you've got to contend with, right? Uh, who's going to drive with you to Jeddah? You've got this person who can drive, but they can only drive from this hour to this hour. Your car that you want to take, maybe it's not available at a certain time, or maybe the car is not made to drive on a certain road, right? You've got multiple different factors that you've got to contend with, that you've got to understand, that you've got to address, that you've got to consider while you're making your plan. And it's difficult to do because so many different things. And the last one is ambiguous. Ambiguous, here it is. Have you ever driven a car uh, where in a cold environment and the window fogs up? The window fogs up, right? Or I know many of you are in the Middle East. Have you ever driven in a sandstorm? I think the Arabic word is aj, something like this, right? Difficult to drive in a sandstorm, right? Difficult to drive when your window's fogged up, right? But yet, you're trying to get to Jeddah. Jeddah's thousands of miles away, but you can't even see 10 feet in front of you, right? So, question: how are you going to create a plan to get thousands of miles away when you can't even see what's in front of you, right? You're trying to look at the screen and things are you can't see. You see? So we talk about VUCA. This is how it's impacting strategic planning, right? A great example of not a great example, but an example of VUCA would be COVID. Things were volatile, up and down. We're not quite sure. Things were uncertain. Do you catch it in the air? Do you catch it by touching something? Things were complex. We got a variant one, variant two, variant three. Things were ambiguous, right? We hear that when the summer comes, it'll go away. When the winter comes, it'll go away, right? We're just not quite sure because it's all new. And for organizations, watch this. It was hard to plan. Look at the example. Many organizations sent their employees home to work from home. Then the leaders had to decide, okay, everyone's working from home. Should we still keep the building where the employees worked? Or should we get rid of the building, get rid of the office space and let everyone work from home? It was hard to plan that decision because what? Oh, we're hearing COVID's going to go away once the vaccine comes. It's going to go away once the wintertime comes. It's going to go away once the da 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 da. But yet they had to make a long-term decision, sign a 5-year lease, a 2-year lease based on volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous conditions, right? So that's how VUCA impacts strategy.